Welcome, guys, to another Discord meeting. We got a lot to go over: the economic calendar, the S&P 500, the IWM, the QQQs. Of course, we are going to have to go over the watch list. I asked some of the guys in the Discord and ladies in the Discord to bring a couple of the stocks to the table so we could take a watch list all together now. And then, of course, what we're going to do, and I don't say of course because we don't do this very often, it's about once a week, we are going to run through the ETF list because we need to figure out where the hell this money is going. We already know the most remarkable stocks are holding up the S&P 500, but we had a lot of volatility come to the S&P 500 today, and we want to know where the hell that money's going to because I'm seeing a lot of false breakouts, as Covey talked about in the Monday afternoon meeting. So we're going to run through that, and guys, I want you guys to know, everybody that's in the Discord, B, Stewie, Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest meteorite alive, Sister Travel, Jimmy, Ken Will, I almost call you Ken Wild, KFC, Kentucky Fried, Stephanie, what's up? Good to see you. Tradewise, and Bob, Trevor, I hope you start feeling better, Trevor. Everybody's in here, and if you guys want to interrupt me, you remember, I'm afraid of the dead silence. I will talk my own ear off while I fall asleep. So make sure, if you have anything that you want to say, unmute your mic or do it in the open chat, and I'll be sure to take a look at anything that you need to. As Ken Will says, no headphones at Arby's. You're gonna get so fat coming to these meetings. So a funny thing about Ken Will is he's got to go because he's got bad service where he's at. To meet up on these meetings, he goes to like a public restaurant so he can get Wi-Fi, which I commemorate you for doing because you're going out there to better yourself. But if you keep going to these places, you're gonna get fat, bro. Anyway, that's a funny thought. So let's just jump right into this, guys. First thing I want to bring up is the S&P 500. Look at this absolutely beautiful thing in the S&P 500. Look at this. This is what I say to all my naysayers, to all the bears that keep just bringing up all their bullish remarks. I mean, I'm gonna get excited. I won't get excited, but I could get very easily excited when it comes to this, guys, because simply put, I hear so much negativity out there. The only negativity you'll hear from me when we're above a rising and 10 and 21 day moving average is this: we're a little extended from the 10-day moving average, so be careful and only take 5-star setups. You guys heard me preach about it yesterday. You heard me preach about it in the Discord today, and sure as shit, look it, we're rip, tater chipping right up to the north side, and you better believe it, baby. It's what we want to see, because if you have any kind of long-term holding, whether it's a 401k, Roth IRA, you guys heard me say this before, it's doing good. Your grandparents are happy because all their investments are doing well. Everybody's happy. We're off those 22 October lows. We are still making money. Well, everybody thought we were going to have a recession. We have had what is considerably a soft landing. Of course, now, as Papa Pelwell stated today, his biggest fear isn't so much a cyber attack anymore. It is more of finding that balance between the job trades, where he can keep everybody working and not have too many jobs come in, and finding a way to reduce the rates, reduce those rates, so that way we can start having more spending come in, but not too much where the inflation's going to go too high. So he didn't go full Volcker on us by raising the interest rates an unconsiderable amount. No, he brought them up, he held them there, and he held that there, and he is getting crapped on by every congressman and woman that is in the Senate. You guys have seen that. You guys seen it. First and foremost, a lot of you guys were with me during that. Well, anyway, that's my rant. There's a lot of negative stuff out there. We're doing really, really well, and I think Chair Powell did a great job. No matter, all politics aside, we're doing good in the market. We have jobs. We got London on the track. But anyway, the S&P 500, well up here, 561.32, guys. Things are looking great. I'm very, very happy, and it always pays to stay positive. This is why we stay positive, guys. This right here. There's so many reasons to not trade. There's so many reasons to not invest. There's so many reasons to not do any of that stuff. And here we are making all-time new highs. Now, be careful. We are still a little extended. Of course, I welcome a pullback, but if we don't get it, we're still risk on. We're still risk on as long as we're above a 10 and 21-day moving average. We are moving on. The QQQs, this is the tech-heavy ETF. Rip, tater, chip. This thing has not been looking back. I mean, it has had one green day after the next. This looks like a red day, but it closed higher than the previous day, so you can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. But what I really want to see is this IWM. Now, I told you guys this on Sunday. I told you guys this on Tuesday, and here we are on Wednesday, and I said by Friday, I think we're going to find a direction. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't actually know. I'm guessing here. But from what I've seen on this tight consolidation, we are going to choose a direction. Are we going to head up, or are we going to continue to head down and head lower? That's the real question. Now, after today, we have made it above all rising moving average in the Russell 2000, also known as the IWM ETF. This is the small and mid-cap stock, people. If we get up and above this area, you're going to see a lot of speculatory stocks. The money start getting dumped into here. Why? Why do you think that's going to happen? Simply put, institutional ownership has their money in everything else right now, in all the Mag 7 stocks. If we start to see the Mag 7 stocks trade sideways or start to head down or even head higher, I don't care, pick a direction. But this starts to get some juice, you're going to see a lot of your small and mid-cap stocks, the stocks that we like to play for swing trades, the ones that can change your account, start to head to the north side as well with this. And that's why I say, here and now, people, stay on your damn toes. Yosef, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. You stay on your damn toes. Watch out, guys, because I say it pays to be positive. We can be positive. We can stay positive. So that way we're constantly looking for the stocks that we want to make money in. And if we do that, then we will be prepared. But if we constantly look at the negative and we constantly think to ourselves, well, this isn't a good time because of this, this, or this, then you're never going to find those opportunist times to buy into the market, and you're never going to be ready. All right? So keep that in mind. It pays to be positive. What's Muley? What's going on, girl? It's good to see you. So it pays to be positive, guys, so be positive. I think the IWM is going to take off to the north side. If it doesn't, guess what? Two things are going to happen. Either I'm in stocks and they stop me out, or, dang, we are getting a ton of people in. We're going to have to start doing these meetings at 9:15, guys. It's good to see everybody in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's two things that are going to happen. Either this is going to break down and either stop me out, or B, it's going to take off, and I am either going to have my trades because I was ready, or I'm going to have to find those trades and get in there, okay? What up, Predator? Good to see you. So that's my rant. SPY ripping to the north side. The QQQs ripping to the north side. The IWM, just as we talked about, still stagnant, and I'm waiting for that push higher because it pays to be positive. All right? I don't think I need to look at the VIX. The VIX, we should know, it's at an all-time low. Any other? Well, we could look at the RSP. We should know the RSP. Look at this. We're starting to get breadth in the market, also above the 50-day moving average. It also, if we look at the breadth of the market and we bring this trend line down, well, that's not a trend line. Here's a trend line right here. Bring a trend line down. You can either see A or B, however you want to look at it, but it's looking very tight. It's looking very tight now. All right. Let's get Ken muted, please. Please and thank you. And so once we break out of this area, that's going to look really, really good. I don't know if it's server mute or what it's supposed to be, but I got it muted. So once we break out above this area, I think we are going to get some speculative. We're gonna get a lot of breath in the market. Things are gonna continue higher. Sorry about that. Okay. Next up, what we are gonna look at is the ETFs because I want to know where that money is coming from. But of course, if you guys want to use this charting platform that I have, where I do all of my charting, you guys will see me using this a lot when I'm buying and selling, which we'll go through my trades here really soon. But if you want to use my charting platform, this is TraderView, and you guys can find that in the link. In the general chat. You can find it in, if you're watching this at a later time, you can find it in the description in my link tree, or you guys can find it in our resource page in the Discord if you haven't already. So let's go ahead and look now at the sector ETFs. All right. And if you guys want this list of sector ETFs, I can send it to you. It's absolutely no problem to do. It only takes a second. All right, we already looked at the SPY. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin had a big soak off this bottom. Is this a new bottom? That would be very, very interesting. After a big soak like this could be very interesting. We could start to make new lower highs and start heading back up. This isn't my play. We could look at this as a daily downtrend, but because it's below a 200-day moving average and all other moving averages, I need to give it more time to prove itself. Okay. This is materials selected sector. We are not looking at this trust mutual fund. Okay, it's below all the moving averages. We have XLK. This is technology. You guys should already know technology has led this bull market for an awfully long time. It is still a hot sector, so keep that in mind. Technology is a hot sector. Next up, XLE. This is energy. You can see it's below all moving averages on a midterm downtrend and about to break a 200-day moving average. XLE, energy, is not looking very good. XOP, this is oil and gas exploration. You can also see it's on a midterm downtrend and it's below a 200-day moving average. It is not looking hot. This is the communication sector. So now we have two sectors that are looking good. Why is this hot? It's not only above its 200-day moving average, but it's all above all other moving averages and continuing to head to the north side. And it also just made a new all-time high. Okay, so I really like to see this, and I've been preaching to you guys about technology and the communication service sector. So if you find communication services like we were trying to get a hold of USM today, you can see it is also heading higher. Now, USM has not gave us any reason to get into it yet because the volume is not there. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on communication sectors, and if we find something that sets up, we know that this is a hot sector. And thank you, Dan Bob Dan, for putting that in the water cooler chat. You guys can click on that link if you want. It's right here. This is what it looks like. I do get a kickback if you guys end up paying for the essential plan. Okay, I do get a nice little kickback, so that's, if you want to support me, you can do that. But if you don't want to, it's fine. I get it. I don't like paying for shit. It's absolutely free if you want to just use the free app. XLU, next up is the utilities. Look at utilities, guys. It looks like we're getting a nice bounce here, but it's still below all the moving average, below the 50-day moving average. In my eyes, when I look at these ETFs, if it's below a 50-day moving average, I don't want to take a look at it. Now, when did I say that we were bullish in XLU or that I was bullish? Not only did we break above the 50, but we broke above this descending trend line. When we seen this descending trend line and it broke above all of its moving average and the descending trend line, I told Dan Bob Dan, I said, look, dude, we got to make up a material, or we got to make up a list. We couldn't find any utilities that could make us rich overnight. Okay, well, that's not what we're trying to do. But you know, we looked up a bunch of lists, but they were all very slow movers. Utilities does not have a ton of fast movers, and that's A-okay. That's no big deal. So we carried on. But XLU, it is looking better than most, but it is still below a 50-day moving average and is on a short-term downtrend. XLP, this is consumer staples. Now, consumer staples, let me zoom out here. So consumer staples, you can see, is just trading sideways near its all-time highs. It is above its moving averages right now. It looks like to me that this thing is coiling up. What do I mean by that? You can see this kind of looks like a coil, and it's getting really tight here. And what do coils do? They spring up, or they spring down, depending on which way it's held. And you can see here, if it breaks this all-time high, that technically the 8134 is, but this is the biggest area of resistance. Why do I say that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now 7, 8, 9 different areas that it's trying to break out of. And you guys can see it. It's right here. If it breaks this descending trend line and it heads up higher, it could get some volatility, continue higher. So now we know that technology, communication services, and the consumer staples are hot right now. So those three sectors are still hot, okay? We're trying to find something that's new, that's hot, but still it seems like the same areas are hot. Maybe it's just new stocks then. Here's another one, healthcare. Healthcare is still running into that descending trend line that we posted 2 weeks ago. The last time we looked at this, we said, you know, we're stuck up in this area. You know, if it breaks out, then so be it. We had a pullback here, and now look, it's honing right in on that area once again. So do keep that in mind. All right. Next up is XLI. This is industrial. Industrial looks like it's on a short-term downtrend. We're still looking better than most of the other ETFs, but it is below that 50-day moving average. XLY, this is consumer discretionary. Look how beautiful this is. Consumer discretionary is one of the hottest sectors there is right now, aside from technology and communication. So keep that in mind. Consumer discretionary is doing well. Let's go ahead and take a look at XBI. This is the biotech. So biotechs are above all moving averages, and it looks like it's forming this kind of like this cup right here, this William O'Neill's cup. We're going to see if it wants to take off. It's kind of still stuck down here in this area of resistance where you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7 areas. We're at the 7th area of resistance. Is this going to break higher? Well, with new higher lows being met right here, this ascending trend line right here, this thing could very well break out. So we need to be keeping in mind on that section there. XRT below all moving averages. This is retail, but it's still looking a little better than most. XLF, this is the financial. This is the financial sector, guys. The financial sector is looking really good. It's also up there. We're seeing a lot of hot sectors. Our hottest ones being consumer consumer discretionary and technology and communication. Okay. And XLF is looking like it can be one of those on the hottest because it's very, very close to breaking new all-time highs. Okay. So I'm not seeing any new sectors. I'm seeing the same sectors still being hot. So that poses the question, with the S&P 500 being where it's at, where have all the cowboys gone?
Today was really spread out. If you look at the spider, bring up the spider for the day.
Sure, be happy to. Thank you for
It is
reminding me.
completely spread out everywhere.
All right, so this is the spider that Dan is talking about, and I'm going to blow this up.
The other one, yeah, go to full. Yeah, go up.
Look at this, guys.
Go up. Go to full.
What's
go
that?
to full view.
Click, okay, sure. Make it a little easier for everybody. Yeah, all right, so check it out, guys. Thank you, Dan Bob. So this is the S&P 500, guys. It went up over 1% today, and this is going to show you where it has gone up. Technology being the highest at 1.45. And you see materials here, healthcare, everything. Everything has went up. Like Dan said, it's very well spread out. That's a good sign. Now, over the past 5 days, you can see energy took the biggest hit. That's actually a good sign for the overall market, in my opinion, because usually energy heads up when we have fear in the market, because that is something that you can count on. You can count on everybody needing energy, especially whether we have jobs or not. Okay, so usually it's more of a recession-proof or consumer cyclical in that sense. Over the past month, you can see, Dan Bob?
I think the best thing, we watched Powell over the last 3 days, and the single best thing he said that I think contributes to today a lot was that they're not going to raise rates. It was an option. It'll always be an option.
Yes,
and but they had no plans at all to raise rates.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. He said there's always that option, but he doesn't see the reason to. And if we stay on this path, his biggest fear, instead of being the cybersecurity, that it's being holding this balance right now, because he's at the pinnacle point to where he wants to lower those rates, but he doesn't want the inflation to come back. But yet, the job demand is still there, and we're at a great area where there is contraction in the overall economy. So,
the encouraging thing for me today was the VB ETF and IVU, which is a small and mid cap ETFs. They actually had life today for the first time.
Yeah.
Quite some.
Yeah, that's why I like bringing up that IWM, because the IWM does cover all of those. And you can see if we look here, why does this look so janky? There we go. We're breaking up above this area, and we finally got above all moving averages. Now, I want to see this thing really get to moving, just like we seen, way back here, back in the day, when we got to moving, lots of heavy volume coming in here, or as I should say, sustainable volume. But you can see just a nice push higher. This was after those 2020 scare. And then I remember all of this just chopping sideways. If you're a range trader, this was a beautiful, beautiful time for you. But this is a lagger. IWM has always been a lagger, at least as far as I've watched. So that being said, with the overall market continually going higher and higher and higher, how much lagging is the IWM going to take? So yes, we see a little bit of life in small and mid caps today. So that's a really good sign, and I'm glad that we're there. Okay, one thing I do like to look at, the heat map. You want to talk about everything getting a little bit of something, something. Look at this, guys. We are green across the board. We only get a little blurps of red here and there from your credit card companies. Maybe Verizon over here, Uber didn't do too well today. Other than that, if you're not green, you're gray. You're neutral. So it's good to see. I mean, it's really good to see. This is what I like to see because I'm holding NVIDIA. And we'll actually go over NVIDIA right now. How about that? So these are going to be my trades. They're not yours. And if you have any questions about actually, do you guys have any questions about the overall ETFs and the sectors that we talked about? I think it's very, very important, guys, for you to know and understand why we look at the sectors, why we go over all of these, because I want everybody to understand if you're in a hot sector and you are in a relatively strong stock compared to the overall market, and you're in a stock that moves fast using the average daily range, then you're setting yourself up to be in the best stocks to make the most money the fastest that you possibly can with your capital. Okay? That's why we have all this in place in this program. That's why everything is in place specifically for that. We want to make the best money the fastest that we possibly can. Because put it this way, if you took Amazon, now we could play AMZU, of course, but if we got into Amazon here at August 26th, we would have never made money because it just traded sideways for months. Actually, a whole year and a half, guys. Amazon just traded sideways, and you could have held on to $30,000 of Amazon and never made any money. And I'm using this as an example because my sister did just that. They were very happy, and I was very happy for them because, of course, Amazon is a good, long-term investment, and that's what they were doing it for. They said it, they forget it. But us, as swing traders, as momentum traders, we don't want our money tied up in anything unless it moves fast. This doesn't move fast. This moves 2.1%. Now that it broke out of this area, you could have played something that moved fast like AMUZ or AMZU, AMZU. Now this moves 4.2%. That means when you get in on this breakout, you're going to make money within a week's time. You're going to make 6.45% on your money. Rather than the S&P 500, we're going to make that in a week, where on average, the S&P 500 takes close to 3/4 of a year to make that, okay? So that's why we're looking for fast-moving stocks. That's why we're looking for stocks that are relatively strong, all right? And that's why we're looking for them to be in hot sectors, because it increases our odds of them going up. Do you guys have any questions on any of those? Okay. So let's go over my trades really quick. Of course, I'm in NVIDIA. Now, if we zoom out, we'll use the hourly so I can show you why I got into this. I think a lot of people understand why I'm in this. First of all, it's a hot sector. Semiconductors is a hot sector. Second off, it is a leader in the market. NVIDIA has been a leader, and I've been saying that it has been a leader for over a year and a half now, 2 years almost, okay? NVIDIA is a leader in this market. Yeah, 2 years now, actually. I've played this multiple times, but the most recent time that I've gotten into this was this hourly downtrend here. You can see it on the daily too. It's not nearly as clean, but it is a daily downtrend holding this 21-day moving average. I played it off of the hourly. I got in. I exited out of half my shares here while I was on the ring with Covey, and then I exited another 50 shares here at 128. So I'm holding half of my share size, and I'm allowing this to play out. Now, in my head, I like using the 10-day moving average, but I'd like to give this plenty of room, so I keep saying the 21-day moving average. to let this play out, because that's what we were bouncing off of, is this 21-day moving average. But I really feel in my best interest, just because of the way this has moved before, that I'm going to use this 10-day moving average, because when the momentum's not there anymore, then I want to be out of this stock. So I have now moved my stop up to 127.70, so that way I cannot lose on this trade whatsoever. I've already made my money on the stock. I can't lose on this trade anymore, and now my stock is my stop. I will continually move up as the 10-day moving average continues to rise. We also are in AMSC. Now, I don't usually do this, but I am in 2 stocks that are in the semiconductor space. Why don't I like to do this? Well, because first of all, I know NVIDIA is the leader and AMSC is not. It is a lagger to NVIDIA, but I have noticed that it moves on its own. I'm still using the 10-day moving average as my stop loss, as that is my break-even area. I've already exited 2 pieces out here, so I'm still holding half of my share size on this. You guys will see a very common denominator in my trades. Here is a daily downtrend. It breaks up on volume. You can see where I took it was on volume this day. I'll bring this up. You can see the volume was much higher this day than the previous weeks. So I decided to get in. I take a trade and I exit half after I am out. I think that was 2R. Let's see. 5, 6. Yeah, 2R. I exit half of this trade out at 2R. And then now that we are pulling back, I just leave my stop loss at that break-even area. If it stops me out for break-even, hey, I've made my money on the stock. I can wash my hands of it and carry on, okay? If this thing wants to continue higher and keep on ripping, hey, so be it. We're right at that all-time high from yesterday, and I really think we can have continuation, okay? So those are my trades. Anybody have any questions on my trades, how I trade it, risk management, or anything of that nature? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Alrighty. What do we got? Let's do the economic calendar. So we have had 2 beautiful days with the Fed Chair Powell testifying. Monday, it was set for Monday. We tried to watch it Monday. We were here on Monday. We watched an older one to catch up on things, and we got ourselves a treat. That was a lot of fun. Then Tuesday, we watched him testify. They, like Dan Bob said, they hold his feet under the fire, and they said some crazy, crazy stuff. And then Wednesday, of course, Fed Chair Powell, which was today, testified. And boy, it was a good one too. It was nice to see. I'm not seeing anything bad come out of this guy's mouth. They kept really firing at him, and he stuck to his game plan. You know, he's got 2 very specific mandates, and that's to keep jobs for the American people and to make sure inflation gets down to 2%. And he has said things are looking like they are coming down. The CPI, the PPI, everything, all the readings are coming out, and it's showing that this we're getting a soft landing. They've said the senators that were there, the congressmen, I should say, that were there had brought up soft landing multiple times. Now, Fed Chair Powell did not use soft landing. I think he's trying to not hold up the flag in victory just yet. But he said, and I've brought this up multiple times, his worst fear isn't a cyber attack so much anymore. It's more of keeping that balance between the jobs and inflation, so that way we don't get one of those Volcker instances where they lift those interest rates too soon and then sticky inflation comes back like a rampant beast that it can be. So what do we have coming up? Well, now that we got the Powell testifying out of the way, Thursday, which is tomorrow, we have core and regular CPI coming out. That's Consumer Price Index. This the core is without food and energy. That's going to show you, that's going to be pretty much your sight into inflation. If the consumers are paying more for the things that they're purchasing, then obviously inflation's still high. We also have initial jobless claims. This is how many people are filing for unemployment. If more people are filing for unemployment, that means less people have money to spend. That means that goods and prices are going to have to come down because there is less demand for those prices. If I'm going too fast here, just ask your questions. We also have PPI I always forget producer price index. Just let me read it verbatim for you guys because it's just so much easier. So the producer price index, PPI, is the change in price of goods sold by manufacturers. It's leading indicator in consumer price inflation. And Papa Powell will tell you that. He uses PPI as the inflation gauge. And you can see as PPI, as we got the reading, it was negative 0.2% last time. That's a really good sign. It's a really good sign that we had a negative reading. Now we want to see within that range of -2 and 0.5 to keep it sustainably low. It looks like the forecast is 0.1. I think the last forecast was 0.3%. And we got the actual at 0.2. Let me fact check that. Okay, so the last time we had was actually 0.5%, not 0.3. The forecasted was 0.1, and we actually got a reading of -0.2. So we want to see within this range once again, in between, -0.2 or negative 0.2%. Or 0.1%. If we can get somewhere within that and the actual comes out within that range, I think, we're not going to see, we're bullish, guys. We're bullish. We're risk on. The market might come back, but many of us has brought up, Covey, myself, Swervo, we've all brought up, it would be nice to see a pullback in the market. Why not? Why wouldn't we want to get a pullback in the market? It'd be nice to get a pullback, then we get more setups, then we can make more money, okay? So that is the economic calendar. Any questions on the economic calendar? Just know that there's going to be volatility 8:30 tomorrow, guys. There will be volatility. Even if you don't read the numbers or understand the numbers or watch my YouTube channels to get the current data on what is going on, you're going to see it in the price action immediately. You're going to know if the market likes it or not immediately, because you're going to see that blurb to the north side or to the south side. All right. And then you'll have to wait till the end of the day to see what the final result is. All right. Now, this is the part where I decided to ask everybody to bring some stocks to the watch list. Now, the reason why I say that is because I have been looking at the same stocks now for quite some time. You guys have brought them up in the chat, which is absolutely awesome. I love to see that we're all kind of watching the same stocks, so that way I don't have to be the one just calling everything out. You guys can call them out. Also, we had many of you calling them out and saying the same things I do. Hey, this is breaking out, but there's no volume. Or this is breaking out and there's lots of volume, but I don't know if it's within the criteria. And it's a beautiful thing, guys. It's really nice to see that. Trade-wise, you got something for us? No? So it's nice. It's really nice to see everybody kind of trying to follow the criteria or calling out the things that have been brought up, whether it's in the watch list or something that we've had before. So I'm going to run through a bunch of stocks. If you want to interrupt at any time to bring up a ticker, let me know, because I'm here for you guys, okay? Personally, I am taking the day off tomorrow. I'm going to go help my dad and my brother do a chimney, so I will not be here tomorrow. I got to go help the family out, but I will still be with you guys in the Discord, but I'm not going to trade from my phone tomorrow. I'm going to let the market have a cool-off day tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be active in the chat. And so if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask in the general chat. Also, anytime that I get, I will be in the general chat speaking to you guys as well. But I want to make sure that we are all set up, including myself, because if something juicy does come up, I will take a trade for my phone. But I mean, it's got to be a 5-star NNE type setup, okay? So we had you guys call out QURE today in the chat. So I wanted to bring up QURE. Tons of volume coming in here. But when I see big blurps like this, I want you guys to understand what I'm looking for. When we get a big blurp like this, and let me just bring this up on the daily. This is great, but there's no way that I can trade this, and no way I think anybody else here can trade this if you're following my type of strategy. This is great, but it's something that we just put on the watch list and wait. Because if this pops up or even goes up higher, we're waiting for a 10 and 21-day moving average to kind of catch up here and for this to create a trend type pattern, okay? And I can even bring this up on TraderView to kind of show you. So QURE, I just want to show you guys kind of what I am looking for. So we get this big move up. The RS rating's 97%, and the average daily range percentage is over 4%. This is actually 9.74%. So that's within our criteria, but now we need to see two things, either a base breakout or a trend breakout. So if I just use this trusty little thing on this beautiful charting platform, you can see we might get this nice pullback here, then it comes up, and then it's lower, up, lower, and then it gets really tight here, guys. All right? So if we get that, then we might get a moving average here that comes up and starts curling this way, right? And let's just act like that is the 10-day moving average, right? And then you'll see me up here saying, hey, guys, check out this stock. And I'll draw a trend line, and then you'll see something like this. So when you see QURE, yeah, put it on your watch list. But we need to wait for a trend breakout. Okay, that's what we want to see. Or let's say we can also look for something like this. It pulls back and it pops up, and it pulls back and it pops up, and it pulls back and it pops up, and it pulls back and it pops up. Now, what do you think? What do you think this is, guys? This is Covey's beautiful, beautiful trade here. Base breakout. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so we're looking for those things. It's okay to find these. We love the volume. We love the push up. We love that it's above all moving averages. But now we got to let the moving averages cut up. We need to let the stock get tight. We need to show a base or a trend breakout to follow my strategy. Okay? It might not be your strategy. This might not be the right Discord for you. But that's how I trade. And if you're here and you're learning and you're listening, then you need to find a process. And the best thing to do is to not try and reinvent the wheel, copycat another trader, okay, and find your way of trading. You can tweak it once you learn and understand it, okay? Just do it on small share size so you guys don't get hurt, or paper trade, damn it. All right, so that is one of the stocks. We also have SOUN. I'm going to tell you the same thing. Above all moving averages, we have this huge downtrend, lots of overhead resistance on this stock, but lots of volume coming in. I would like to see this thing get even higher, okay, honestly, and then pull back and follow the moving averages just like we just talked about. NNE had a nice pullback. Can this thing do exactly what we're talking about? Maybe give this another 3 or 4 days, get really tight on the 10-day moving average before it breaks out. CVNA, if you guys were with me, I brought this up on my stock market watch list this morning, and CVNI did break out. My issue is there's been so many false breakouts here. I even said in the daily watch list, let me just bring it up for you guys. I always like to call myself out. SPY, again, reaching new all-time highs in the pre-market. We are extended from the 10-day moving average. I am risk on, but also need to remember the past few days there have been a ton of failed breakouts. So 5-star setups only. We welcome pullbacks here for better base and trend breakout setups. I won't argue with the price action, but the best base and trends are after a good correction. So we brought up CVNA, Dell, and USM, okay, because those are the only things that I've seen setting up. But this was not a 5-star base breakout. A 5-star base breakout is something like you would see on SHIP. We love to use this as an example. This is what we would want to see right here. Okay, CVNA does not just look like that. Just look like that. So CVNA, we go back. You guys can see it's a little bit choppier, right? You get these blurps here. You get these blurps down here. It's not really following a perfect 10-day moving average. So I said I can wait. I can wait on this, and I did. USM, actually, Jolene, I wish Jolene was in the chat with us. I was very proud of her. She called this out just like I would. Following a 10-day moving average, getting tight here, and then breaking out here. Beautiful breakout. Honestly, a beautiful breakout. What was it missing, though? The volume. There was no volume, and she called it out right here. Look at this. A nice breakout. Let me even put it on the 5 minutes so you guys can see. A beautiful breakout right here. I love to see it breaking out here, but there was absolutely zero stinking volume on this. We stayed out of it, and sure as shit, it pulled right on back. Another false breakout. We have MDGL. This is one that did break out a couple days ago. I had it on the stock watch list, I do believe. But the issue with MDG, actually, I did not have it on the watch list 2 days ago. But I was watching it. It didn't have volume on the breakout. And look, and now it's pulling back. It's retesting this area, which I do like retests. This might be a nice area to keep on our watch list for tomorrow. I'll just bring this down. Maybe we keep an eye on it, maybe not. Kava. Guys, this is beautiful. So Kava really pulled back. That tells us our sector in the restaurant area is starting to really get hurt. And Covey actually brought this up just a few days ago. I even inquired with him, hey, would you trade Kava? And he goes, yes, I would still trade Kava. It's still looking like it's setting up, but our leaders are pulling back as well. So this is looking weak. And he called that beautifully because look at Kava now, breaking all the way down to its 50-day moving average. It has not been down here since April, okay? What a beautiful call out. So shout out to you, Covey, on that. Let's go to LTBR. Oh, and one thing I do want to say, this was on the watch list. This right here, Kava. I am already holding this name, but I feel I was early to the party. I think more participants will show up and a bigger break at 96 happens. This I want to reinitiate, guys, because look, we did get that breakout at 96, and it pushed up on higher volume. And after it pushed up, we exited out of half of our shares here at 98. We made money on a stock that pulled back, made new all-time highs, and then pulled back and stopped us out at break even. This is why you have buy and sell rules, guys. This is the exact reason why. Because you still can make money in this market or in any trade if you play these properly. I got in on the volume. I was actually already in on the volume. And I exited out after we get a push higher and I hit my 1 or 2 R. I exit out of this trade, half my share size. Then I bring my stop rather than low of whether it's previous day or wherever it was. I bring it up to break even. That way you cannot lose on the trade. And then look, this is why we have stop losses, right? Pay attention. Stopped out here. Look at failed. I could be holding and hoping right now. Failed. Now I'm in regret, right? Now I'm stuck bag holding a stock. This is why it's important. Put your stop losses in and don't question it. This is the reason why. But back to my original thing. Nice shout out, Covey. I really liked your analysis on the restaurant sector. LTBR, this had a nice push up. This was a nice call out by your boy Danny. A nice push up, but this is why we take our profits after.
Hey, quick question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
On Kava,
Yeah.
when you're making a play like that, and I know you're not a fortune teller, right? But you, with your expertise, you can kind of see that you were heading into a dip. Does that not give you any conviction there at that point to play short, or did you do it?
So shorting is not part of my process. And Covey will always remind me that it's not part of my process because every time I do start to short things, and you've been here long enough with me, Predator, that you've seen me short things and I've made money on my shorts. I've also lost money on my shorts too. But here's the thing. I do not have a proven, back-tested, by data strategy on my shorts. So I know, Covey knows, and now you know, if I short, I'm not taking part of my process, and it's out of line. It's not right. I'm not disciplined if I'm doing that. Now, if I want to, I can take, say 1/8 risk into it, but I need to have my written rules down. I don't have written rules down for shorting. So that's a really good question, dude. That's a really, really good. Thank you so much for asking that. Yes, absolutely. It's breaking this. Of course, I call this a big drip, and it looks like it's going to fail here. But I can't take this. There's no way in hell I could take this because I don't have a written rule and I wouldn't be disciplined and then I would be doing a disservice to myself, my friends, the Discord, and my family. So that's why I have to stick to the base and trend breakout rules or the episodic pivots, which, by the way, guys, Dan posts the upcoming best earnings that are coming out in our Discord at the very bottom. So keep in mind those episodic pivots. I use this to search for them. I don't search for them until the morning. So we have like AEHRs coming out with earnings here. They are beat down. So if they come out with really good earnings and they gap up, say over 20%, they might be a stock to take. Plus it's also in the semiconductor sector. That's just a random thought, guys. I'm not saying that that's one to watch or anything, okay? So let's keep on keeping on. MIRM, if you guys remember, this was actually part of the daily watch list just a few days ago. I talked about the breakout at 35.45. I did not take this just because it was a little too extended for me. I wanted to see this get a little bit tighter. It's still working out, but again, we had a pullback in here as the overall S&P 500 heads higher, so not the strongest. DELL, I am still watching this, guys. Now, I talked to Danny about this. He says it's kind of a laggard. You know, Dell is a laggard to NVIDIA. It is. I mean, everything. Big bank earnings on Friday, TradeWise says. Yeah, we can take a look at that, actually. Actually, I know all the big banks by off the top of my head. We'll go through that in just a second. And I'll just bring up what Dan Bob has posted. Ken Wild, I see TSM. Let me just bring this up in the earnings and news. Did you post the newest one?
It's in there.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank X. Okay, yes. Wells Fargo, that's WG and Citi.
Look at Wells Fargo. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, okay. I'll go over it in just a second. I just want to talk about Dell for just a second. So right here is your Dell. Big daily downtrend. It's still trying to get out. It's still holding a 50-day moving average. I'm still looking at this thing. I'm still wanting to take a piece of this. I've already stopped out of this once. I played this on the breakout. I loved it because of the volume. I would take this trade 10 times over, guys. I'm very happy with this loss. $186 loss. I only took 2/3 into my trade and stopped out. Totally fine with that. Because it was all part of my process. I wasn't even sweating it. I set my stop, I forget about it, and sure enough, it continued lower. But now we're still holding this, still making new higher lows now, and we're still at that breakout area. If it wants to take off, this is an average daily range of 4.8%. And of course, if we look up the relative strength rating, you will see that Dell is sitting at 98. We want anything above 90, so that looks really good. All right, you want to look at Wells Fargo. Is that WG? No. What is Wells Fargo? Wells Fargo.
WFC.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Can't believe I forgot that one. Okay, so guys, when we're looking at trades like this, first of all, we need to understand that this is a cup and handle. Ooh, beautiful. But it is a slower mover. The average daily range is only 2%. And if this thing gaps up, it's not going to mean too much for me. Because it's such a slow mover. But if it does gap up on earnings, this could be considered an episodic pivot. But because it's not beat down, it's not below any of the moving averages, this would not be considered an episodic pivot. Also, depending on the rules, this is a much bigger market cap. So you're not going to see big movement in this. Now, WFC is very interesting because it is at that area of breakout. So if you don't mind being in a slower mover, WFC might be that might be palatable to be on your watch list, because if it breaks out from here, it could be like Goldman Sachs. Let's take a look at the leader in the financial sector, and that's Goldman Sachs right here. Does this look very similar? It sure does. Here's a big cup. Here's the handle, and sure enough, Goldman Sachs took off, and it's building another base, and it took off on that base today. As we know that the financial sector is hot, it is continuing to be hot. All right, so it's looking really good, guys. I really like what's going on here. Also, Goldman Sachs is coming out on earnings on the 15th, so that's in 5 days. That should land you on, I think, Wednesday, somewhere probably around Wednesday. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay. What other big banks do we want to take a look at? Anything? Citi, CITI,
BOA.
BOA,
Yeah, BOA is a good one.
BOA, Bank of America.
Yep.
BAC, you mean?
Okay. Whatever it is.
BAC, yeah, Bank of America. So Bank of America is also a leader. It's not doing nearly as well as Goldman Sachs, but Bank of America is coming out on 7/16. It's also still at that new all-time high. If you guys remember, I was talking about Bank of America all the way back here, but I decided to stay away from it. Why? Because it only moves 1.8%. So if I would have got in and held on to it using the 50-day moving average, I wouldn't have made a lot of money. Excuse me, guys. I wouldn't have made a lot of money here. Not at all. Barely any. You know, it's only went up $2. So I would have had to have used a lot of capital in order just to make a small amount on $2. So, you know, a lot in this bank sector. But if you can find a bank ETF, like a levered ETF, or a bank stock that's moving much faster to its counterparts, that's a smaller mid cap, that has an average daily range of higher 4%, please bring that to the table. Please let me know so that way we can be a part of it as well. Let's take a look at a few of these. WGS. So WGF, that was an alert that went off today, first thing this morning. It was very nice little breakout here, and it had some volume. But again, I decided not to trade it. Why? Because of all the false breakouts that we were having. I really thought, you know, and if we did take this, we'd still be in this. We'd still be in this because I would have used this low of day, and it might end up making money. But I just kind of veered away from all of that today and just let my NVIDIA and AMSC do some work. I did take a small trade on a different stock. I think it was RT. No, it wasn't RTW. PLTR is looking really, really good. I was really impressed by its movement today, extended from the 10-day moving average. And I know a few of us have this in here. It didn't only just push higher today, but it also held all of its gains rather than pulling back. PLTR is looking really good here. I really would like to see, best case scenario, PLTR pull back and trade sideways and let a moving average catch up so we can play a base or a trend breakout, because in all honesty, guys, it has a cup. It has a bit of a handle, but I wanted to see a little bit longer of a handle. This thing really took off here. This is a nice base breakout. 2649 would have been the area to get into this thing. Oh my gosh. And you can even see here on the 5-minute, I set this up showing you there was a trend breakout here. I much rather see it more days than this, but the volume came in on it, and this would have been the area to take. Again, $26. This thing really got to rip in, and that would have just been such a beautiful take. But you can't catch them all. RDW looks like it's still setting up here. This looks really nice. I like to see it, but we need to see it on volume. We can see it right here. A nice breakout here. We'd still be in it, but boring. It's still just setting up. Maybe a couple more tight days. And I'll go through a couple more. TGX. Looks like this broke out and it worked. When it did break out, it really just didn't do it on much volume. Today and, well, 3 days ago would have been the trade, but it just wasn't enough volume for me. So I'm kind of just sitting back, waiting for something to speak sweet nothing into my ear. ASNS, who brought up ANSS today? ASNS. In the after hours, that's moving here. I really need to see it form some type of trend line on the hourly tomorrow before I can take this. But yes, it did break out of the, well, it held the 21-day moving average and it broke out, but I don't play pre-market or aftermarket for these breakouts. So sure, it broke out, but it needs to really prove itself now. So we'll see what it wants to do.
Can you look at BuzzFeed?
Sure. Is it BZFD?
BZFD.
Okay, yeah. So BZFD looks like it's still setting up. It's got an average daily range of 8.2%. I'm assuming because you brought it up that it is good on the RS. We have a trend line while it holds the 10-day moving average. I really think if this thing gets volume, it really could push higher. I like it. Now remember, it's a penny stock that comes with inert risk. It is shown to be a pump and dump stock, as you can see here. Pumped, dumped, and we come over here, pumped, dumped. We come over here, pumped, dumped. Now we're up here, it's pumping. It looks like it's dumping. So we need to be careful with the inert risk. It doesn't look like it's going to move or do anything crazy, but if it does, just know right here, there's a bunch of bag holders sitting right here at $3.62. So even if this thing does start to get off, I think there is a short here at $3.64, $3.60. So just keep that in mind. I don't really care for it because if it does break out, it's got to get through this area too. So there's just too much overhead resistance for me. I did have this on my watch list a while back, so I mean, it's there. It's something to watch. TWST did break out on me, but it did on lower volume. I mean, you're seeing a common denominator here. I don't expect the market to, really give us the pullback, but it's all the same shit that's been working, guys. It's all your Mag 7 stocks. So keep that in mind. But what do you guys have anything? Covey, you got anything for me? Anything on your watch list that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I got one.
I got 2 fun ones to look at.
All right, Covey, why don't you give me what you got, and Predator will do you the runner up.
It's just it's kind of the only one I'm watching. MDIA.
MDIA.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's one of the ones I'm watching.
Oh, no way. He gotcha.
Yeah.
Next time you go first. All right, cool.
No, I got an important question for Kobe. If you're watching MDIA, how come you're not watching ASPI?
ASPI?
ASPI, yeah.
ASPI looks like shit. That's
And I'll give you my thesis after you've said your piece.
Dude, my piece for ASPI
looks
is
like
simple.
shit.
yeah, exactly. I don't even want to hear a thesis on that. That's garbage.
Well, it's just with MDIA, you got those higher lows being formed, surfing the 10-day and the 21-day, and it's tightening up. Like right now, the risk on it is around 6% on a 30 ADR stock. So 30% ADR. So,
yeah, nice. Very nice.
So it's This is my top watch. I'm actually hoping to get a trade on it tomorrow.
Do you like it better as
like
a
that.
base or a trend? Okay, so you're playing it more as a trend. Okay.
Yeah.
I can almost see a base in here too, but it's kind of hard because the wicks aren't very clean. So yeah, I like the trend. That's nice. Would you say maybe a couple more days or maybe another day?
That'd be great. That
Okay.
would be the ideal thing, but
Okay.
for me, it's already looking pretty tight compared to its overall ADR,
Okay.
and it's already had a nice 400% run up,
Okay.
300% run up. So it's MDIA is kind of the only thing I've been watching.
I drew this out just a couple of days ago, actually 3 days ago, when I seen this come up. I actually drew this out, Covey. So I was looking at a trend a few days ago. So we'll see if this squiggly line holds out. It doesn't look like the 10-day, but looks like if we can hold the 21-day, this squiggly line might work out. But yeah, this is what I was looking at. So that's nice. Also, hang on one second. Also, I want to point out too, I pulled the anchored VWAP off of this. Actually, that's the 10-day. So this is the anchored VWAP off of this here. Let me pull the anchored VWAP off of the earnings. You can see right here, look, the anchored VWAP off the earnings is showing that if it breaks out of this area, it's got a little bit of resistance just above it, but not too much. What were you saying, Dan Bob? Sorry.
Asked if you were drinking that day.
I know, it was very swervy. It was very swervy. Let me draw this line here, guys. No. Predator, did you have anything else that you wanted to include?
In MDIA, it looks a little bit different on the 5-minute. It looks like it might break out tomorrow morning on the 5-minute, to be honest with you. That's what I looked at it on the daily, but then I checked out the 5-minute, and I'm seeing a breakout between. It's just for information purposes. I'm seeing a breakout occurring between 377 and 423. Now, 377 being the most recent high, 423 being closer to the average that's been there for roughly about like maybe 2 weeks. And the reason why I mentioned ASPI is because ASPI just had a breakout this morning. But that breakout is not really what I would have wanted to jump in on, because some of the ranges were just kind of wonky there, like with the 10 over the 20 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
However, when you look at that on the daily, it's prepped for a breakout, but the breakout that I would be looking for is a little higher. If I were going to be getting in, I would be getting in somewhere around like the 428 430 range.
Sure.
expecting it to break through 543.
Okay.
And that's based on the fact that the 50 and the 200 is going up, and the other MAs are lining up for that. But the MAs are lining up on the 5-minute, not the daily. And I know that's preferable to see it on the daily.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
so worst case scenario, I just would take it.
Yeah, I got you. I always recommend, because I have one very specific niche, and that's base and trend breakouts. So that, with that being said, we you might have something that I don't understand that you're doing, and you know, Jolene's messaging us and she's not in here.
Jolene. Sorry.
Jolene. No, I'm with you. I'm always singing her name. I'm always singing all the girls in here.
It's a
We
good
got so
song.
many girls in here, dude. It's nuts. Travel called me out. I was like, "What's up, brother?" And she's like, "I'm a sister." I'm like, so now she's Sister Travel from now
Oh, that
on.
was funny.
Yeah, I know. I was laughing. I was just talking to the wife
was
too when I
cute.
went for a walk. I was like, "We have so many girls in here." She's like, "If you keep getting big enough, you're gonna have to do like a girls only like Discord meeting and stuff like that." You know, I was like, "Hell yeah," you know, ladies only night. But anyway,
Yeah,
guys.
we'll have to get all our wives in. Get them
Bring
out
out
our
the
hair.
wine.
Yeah, yeah,
Bring out the
absolutely.
wine.
I love it.
I mean, we get stuck with the kids.
Yeah, just the kids. Oh, that would be. They would rather just play video games, I think.
Yeah, we get stuck with the kids.
Oh, I see. On my bad. Yeah, no ladies only night. I've just called that off. One
Hey,
last
Dave,
thing.
Dave,
Go-
you know what?
What's up?
One last thing on ASPE. On your screen, I noticed that on the 5 minute, you marked out what looks like a cup, not necessarily a handle, but
Oh,
but
you're
looks
talking on
like
the
two dips.
yeah. This.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's a cup, and then it's a failed handle.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about ASPI, dude. That's yucky. That's
Oh,
yucky.
I was just curious.
I know. I'm just saying. Just because it's below all of its moving averages, if we want to look at this stock, we need to see something like this, push it up, and then for it to pull
Yeah.
back and get tight. This might be something to watch right here, but it never broke out. You know what I mean? We want to see the
Right.
continued momentum. This is just trading within a range now, you know? And if it
Yeah.
comes back up here, I would suspect more of a cup and handle at 496 and a fail. Or not a cup and handle, a head and shoulder, you know? So it's got a ton of proving to do right now. It is on a constant uptrend. You know, I could talk good about it if you wanted me to. You know, it's on a constant uptrend, but then it broke its
No,
uptrend.
no,
you
not at
know?
all.
So, I mean, I
Yeah.
just,
No, remember, I'm
yeah.
still learning your method here, and
I
I'm
hear you.
trying to filter out all the noise that I've had in my head before. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm getting it. I feel like I'm getting some of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So just really quick, let's go over GME. I wanted to talk about GME. I did take GME today. I took this breakout right here. This is the huge daily, and it followed a 50-day moving average. And when it broke out, it did break out on volume. So I decided to take this on very, very small share size. So you can see right here on the intraday, it's a nice basing forming. Look at all this volume that came in right here, guys. Look at that volume. Higher than the previous week. And then when it broke out, it was absolutely beautiful. I loved watching this thing break out this day. If we look at it on the 5-minute, you'll see it's even cleaner. You'll see the clean breakout, and then it formed another trend, broke out even more, much higher volume. My thing was with this is after it broke out and it broke out higher and it pulled all the way back and started hovering underneath VWAP, I decided to bring this trade up to break even. So I just brought my share trade right up underneath to where it stopped and where I got in, and then it just stopped me out for break even. Because I'm looking for that momentum, and I'm not here to mess around with some meme stock, okay? So I wasn't going to trade this for the low of the day, which it could be argued if I would have used the low of the day, maybe tomorrow it breaks out higher, but that's not what I was looking for. I expected this thing to rip, tater chip right here, right now, and hold that VWAP area and continue higher. So because I was not right about the trade, then I decided to exit the trade. So I lost 64 cents. So no creamer in my coffee tomorrow morning, but that's A-okay. You guys have anything else? Anything else that you guys want to talk about or bring up?
Can I add something there?
Yes, for GME?
I do. I want to say one thing on this. Yes, on this trade that you just took.
Sure.
This is one of the scenarios which I hope everybody else is paying attention to. This is one of the scenarios that I really compliment you and Covey on, because this is where the proof is in the pudding and what you're doing. I like this a lot. This is why I'm trying so hard to get this part. You got into a trade, right? You saw what you wanted to see, or you got the conviction and the proof to follow it. You put your stop loss in, and you saw something that kind of hinted that your conviction was gone. You brought your stop up so that you don't get stopped out without with losing too much, and this gives you back your money to trade for another day.
Absolutely.
And this is the hardest part, in my opinion. This is the hardest part of your procedure for me to grasp and get used to.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in the trade and make money, but this is when you have to remember, like you always say, you can't force the market to do anything. It's going to do what it's got to do.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to play within the playground. That's
yeah,
all.
man. It is, and it is hard. And I'm glad you bring that up because I remember, and Covey
Well
remembers too.
freaking said.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely, I agree with Covey. It was very well said. It is so hard to do. It is so hard to do. But after you do the same thing consistently over and over and over again, you know what you're looking for. You know exactly what you're looking for in a trade. And this was exactly what I was looking for. I've been watching GME for a long time. You guys, I tell you about it. A lot of times I don't even like to bring it up because of the stigma behind those meme stocks. Sometimes I feel like an idiot trading some of these because it's a lot of dumb money trading these. But I'd rather be the guy that is more skeptical making money from it because I made a ton of money on GME on this last push right here. You guys were actually with me. I was in live. I made, I don't know, I forget how much it was. I say a ton of money, but I really only think it was like $800 or $900. But I made some good money trading this. You know, it was nice. I really wanted to short this too, but that's for another time. I called a beautiful, beautiful short out on this trade, and I wasn't able to get it, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. So no point in bringing it up. So thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, after you trade something over and over and over again, you will find the nuances, the hidden nuances in it, and you'll say, wait. And you really have to be honest with yourself. That's why it's always nice to always have a pad of paper. Always have a pad of paper and a pen next to you because if you're not used to it, you need to write down your plan. Or it's hard to write down the plan and get it all written out and then take the trade. So what I like to do sometimes is I take the trade, then I write down my plan. But I'm to the point now where I know exactly what I want to see. When I got into GME, I expected this thing to run up, and I expected it, honestly, to run up to 30. I was expecting it to run up to 30 today. Now, we weren't too far off. We're only a couple bucks off, and this thing easily can do it. At 11% for a mover, this thing easily can run up that 30% or that 11.6% to $30. It can, okay? If not today, within the next day, and then I was going to take out minimum of half my share size, okay? But I didn't get that. So when it starts to pull back and it starts to break down, I exit the trade. Thank you for bringing that up, and very well said, just like Covey told you. Ken says that he wants me to look at Taiwan Semiconductor. Now, I know they had earnings. Let's take a look at Taiwan Semiconductor. Did they? Oh, no, they have earnings coming up. Okay, so earnings is going to be on the 18th. We can see that it is trending up to the north side. This thing's been a beautiful mover. Now, always keep in mind that Taiwan Semiconductor is going to follow NVIDIA. And why do I say that it's going to follow NVIDIA? NVIDIA being the leader, Taiwan Semiconductor either manufactures for them or they NVIDIA needs something from them, one of the two, but they go hand in hand, okay? Just keep in mind, Taiwan Semiconductor is a much slower mover. It only moves 2.8%. So if you're looking to trade Taiwan Semiconductor, just keep in mind that it's a slow mover and its earnings come out the 18th. And if you don't know the way I trade, I do not ever hold before earnings. There's only one reason why I would hold before earnings, and it's because I'm way up and I'm only holding maybe an eighth of the position. So I'll allow that to continue because it's a gamble, guys. And you're not going to, no, there's no arguing with me. It's a gamble. It does not matter what you think or what you want to will your opinion on the market. The trading earnings is a gamble. So I hope nobody here ever brags in the general chat that they won money because they played earnings, because I will just shit on you. In a loving and caring way, of course. Do we have any other questions or anything else? Ken Will, I hope I gave you a good enough analysis on this. When it comes to the analysis on this, it's trending up to the north side. It's holding a 10-day moving average, but it's currently extended from that 10-day moving average. So expect some volatility, expect a pullback, but because it's trending to the north side, it's looking good. It's a leader. It's definitely a leader in the semiconductors. You know, it just hit new all-time highs 2 days ago. It's looking good, but we got earnings coming up soon. So Great question. Do we have any
Hey,
other
Dave,
questions?
I got one.
Yeah, what you got, B. Stewie?
INSG.
INSG, Insignia,
Yep.
Insigo Corp. Ooh, look at this bad baby. Why have we've missed this time and time again? Does it meet all the criteria? 11.9% average daily range. So INSG, Insignia, moves an average 11.82% with a 99 rating. Where the hell have we been on this? Why have we not seen this fucking stock, dude?
That's just been one of them I've been watching.
That is looking good. Covey, I bet you're you got a little
Yeah,
quarter chub
looks
going
good.
on for this one, don't you? Look at this, guys. That's
Maybe
what I
even
want.
a half.
I'm
INSG,
gonna give
yeah.
credit to Danny. I'm gonna give credit
Oh,
to Danny
Danny
on
called
this.
this.
We talked
Oh,
about
you
it.
saw. Oh, I'm so proud
We
of you.
talked about it. We talked about it the 26th of last month, and I've been watching it.
He's
since.
not here right now, dude. You get full credit. You get full credit for this one. All right, not only that, but it actually looks like it's not a super shitter stock. Like they actually have some type of. Let's read what it is. Insignia Corp engages in the business of communication equipment. You hear that, people? Do you hear that? Communication equipment. The firms produced include mobile hotspots, industrial gateways, and routers, home and enterprise routers. Guys, this is what we're talking about. This is within the hot sectors. It also has huge volume pushing up while it comes back and rides the 10-day moving average. It also is getting tight. This is number one top stock, INSG. This is my top and only stock to watch for tomorrow. I have not only a trend breakout on this, but a base breakout. Look at 1, 2, and 3 areas for a 4 areas for a base breakout, and we have a trend breakout. This is what you call a double whammy. Okay, so put this on your
straight from the nerve center, Dave.
Hell yeah, straight from the nerve center. Get some sprinkles on it, baby. So at 11:20, if my alert goes off at 11:20 and I see what? Volume, baby. If I see volume coming in at 11:20, I am going to want to take a peeky gander at this trade to see if it wants to rip, tater chip. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything? Dan, Bob, Dan, please.
I was just talking with Jolie. She couldn't get into the meeting for some reason, so she'll be watching. She'll be watching on YouTube. So give her a shout out.
Well, listen, Jolie, if you're listening to this right now, my girl, we love you, Jolie. Thank you so much for.
Hey, what was that
Jolie.
last ticker? I was only hearing it as I was talking to her.
The last ticker, INSG, Insigo Corp, INSG.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jolene, huge shout out. I'm so happy. Thank you for watching these afterwards because we're working on the watch time hours. That's a great time to tell you guys about this. So if we look at the analysis here, I just want to tell you guys really quick. We are at 997 subscribers right now. 997. We only need 3 more. I'm sure we will have it by tomorrow night. So I am pleased as punch to announce that we only need 3 more subscribers. And then we're only working on the watch time hours. So if you guys ever want to help me out, give this a watch. Let it play in the background so you guys can hear it all over again, or watch some of our older videos that you may have missed, or rewatch the rules for the base and trend breakout videos that Covey and I have posted in the Trader School. All those watch time hours are accumulated. We're at like 11 or 1200 right now, and we only need 3,000 more. And we've only literally been posting videos for like 2 months. And we're averaging like 5 to 600 hours every 28 days. So we're gonna be making money here on our YouTube in a very short period of time. It's another huge goal. So after that 1,000, that's all we need is some watch time hours. So thank you, Jolene, for watching that after the program gets set, and anybody else who does that for me. I know Dan Bob does, and most of you guys else do. So is there any other questions, comments, concern, anything out there that you might want to pull into light? It seems Ken Will says, I use a margin account. Should I use a cash account? Well, if you have a margin account, it's not going to hurt anything as long as you understand risk management. And I think you were here yesterday for the risk management. I highly recommend you keep a very, very close eye on using risk management. I think you said you were having an issue with risk management with your brokerage, so switch your brokerage so that way you can use stop losses. And a margin account's no big deal. If you have a margin account, that's totally fine. Just keep in mind you only want to risk at maximum 1% of your money that you have in the account, not your margin, just the money that you have in the account. Okay, so I hope I made myself very clear. And on top of all that, if you're new to trading and you don't have a proven strategy that has either been back tested or you can see it in your P&L that your strategy is working, that you can write down your buy and sell rules, then you should paper trade. You should paper trade. There's no point in even using cash. I know everybody wants to make money off this, but I promise you're going to lose money before you start making money, okay? Unless you're really flipping lucky. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Anybody else?
Or do really small positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you want the emotional attachment to your trades, then use really small positions. I was using like 0.025 positions, like literally risking, maybe $5, $10 a trade, and you can just get one share, just to be a part of it if you wanted to. So keep that in mind. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? If not, forever hold your peace.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you.
Hey, Victoria here. Can you look at TradeWise, OLLI?
OLLI, so Ollie? Yeah, sure. But first, I just want to... Ollie. So we did try to take this trade when it broke out here on this day. It moves 3%, so it's a little slower than I like to see. But OLLI is a retail trade, and we know that they're hot right now. We know that retail trade is hot. Let me just bring it up on our beautiful platform, OLLI. And you can see here, this is where I drew this out before. We get a big push up on volume. The RS rating is 92, so it's within the criteria. The only issue is that slower mover. It's only moving 3%. But we love seeing this base breakout. Now it's getting really, really tight on this 10-day moving average, so it does have an opportunity to break out of this area. Keep in mind, it's the $100 psychological and technical area that it needs to break out. So I do think if this thing does break out of that $100 area, that it can push higher as long as there's volume to back it up, okay? Of course, these are not buy or sell recommendations in any shape or form, but this is just a big talking chin. This is my idea, not yours. I like it. He likes the stock. So OLLI, definitely keep it on your watch list if you don't mind the slower movers, especially if you're just learning. But if you're trying to make millions on a small account, this isn't going to do it. So you might get a little push off here. You might make some money, but just always make sure you're using risk management. But I do like Ollie. You can zoom all the way back here. You can see it's hit this area multiple times. 1, 2, 3. Down top. 4, and then you can just see every day here, just one smack after another. So yeah, this could really get moving. Keep it on your watch list. I like it. It hits all the criteria except for that average daily range. And you know what? I'm just gonna set an alert on this thing, just to tempt myself, and that way I can TradeWise. I can bring it up to you. I can say, hey, look, did you take it? So yeah, this is what we're looking for. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anybody else? Did I answer? Is that what you were looking for? TradeWise?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions?
I have
Comments?
one last question, please.
Dan Bob, this is your I'm gonna start charging you, Dan. I'm just kidding. Actually, I owe you, Dan Bob. What do you got for me, baby?
When is your birthday?
August 10th, 1988 is my birthday. It's
Gotcha.
your birthday. We're going to do a live stream all day on my birthday.
Damn, that's coming up.
Yeah, it is. You guys have to sing to me. I'm gonna sing to me.
You walk out for
I'll just sit
present.
here and cry while you guys sing to me. Make it really awkward. All right, I'm sorry. Enough of this stupidity. Anybody else? Anything? Anybody else got anything? Anything to tall? No? Alrighty.
No.
Well, let me just say this. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I love doing this. I love technical analysis. I love everything in the markets. All the live streaming that we've done the past 2 days has been awesome, and everybody that has hung out with me during those live streams. It's been a lot of fun. It's been awfully interesting to say the least. Meeting all of our all of the board in the house and seeing how they talk to old Papa Powell, my hero, Papa Powell, with his feet in the fire, in the coals and the flames. I hope you guys have an awesome night. I want you to be safe out there. Again, I'm not going to be here to trade at my desk tomorrow. So we got the whole crew will still be in here, very, very active. So you guys are more than welcome to ask questions, talk tickers, and bullshit as you will. And I'm going to be here from the side. I'll check you guys out when I'm not up helping my dad and my brother do. We're doing some brick labor and stuff. So it should be pretty good workout. Good workout for me. But I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you have an awesome trading day. Remember to use risk management. Use risk management. It's very key. It's very critical. I hope you guys have an awesome night. Peace.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Bob. Bob, I hope you feel better, brother. Get rid of that cough, bro.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Take care. See you, Jimmy. Thank you for showing up, brother. Dedicated. Yes, sir. We'll unmute Ken. Take care, Ken. Ken, your mic sucks, bro. Ken, take care, bro. Hope you have a good night, man. Sister Travel, I hope you have a good night. Predator, sorry for calling your stock shit. You're awesome, though. Okay, yeah, I'll get that uploaded right now. Jolene. All right, guys, take care.